Hello, and welcome to InGeneral, the Jurassic Outpost podcast. My name is Jack. On this episode, wait, did I say the episode? It's episode 133. My name is Jack, and I'm joined with Caleb. How you doing, buddy?
Affirmative InGen Harvest Leader. This is InGen Harvest Base. Please send rescue immediately.
I need you to send rescue immediately. It's such a good scene. I'm also joined with Jaden from the land down under. How many Australia puns can we get in this episode?
What's going on? How are we? I hope everyone's doing well.
Good morning.
Yes, 9:23 a.m. I'm a happy boy. Not
What's the
6
weather
and-
like
6
down?
a.m.
No, just for-
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was gonna tell you, but all right.
Well, go on.
It's all right. Oh, it's nice and sunny. We're entering summer down here, so
Entering summer. This is the first day it's rained here in quite a long time, and it's an appropriate time for it to be raining. It's Friday the 13th, day of recording. Day of recording is Friday the 13th. So
Spooky.
getting
Do
into
you like my
the
Halloween lights.
spooky
The
season.
decoration?
Yeah, although Jaden, you've
Yeah.
had Halloween set up for about a month now, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, since the start of September. Yeah,
It's spooky season.
yeah.
Jurassic is Halloween.
I guess we should note this podcast is recording Friday the 13th. Going to be released a little later, so if there is any new news in that time, we may have missed it. But in this episode, we're going to talk about what we do know, and I guess we should start with the latest piece of news, which is actually Evolution 3. Jaden, can
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit about Evolution 3, Evo 3?
Well, we don't know if it's Evo 3 yet because they keep saying it's a third Jurassic World game. So, but it's most likely going to be Evolution 3. But a portfolio strategy came out. I think was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, 2 days ago. Frontier released there was like a Reddit post of what was it their financial plan for the next financial year.
Yeah, it was like a
Um,
portfolio strategy along with their financial report for fiscal year 25, I think.
Yeah, and it says we'll be building on the success of our first two games and leveraging the brand awareness of the new film to bring a third Jurassic World game to our players in the financial year of 26, June 2025 to May 2026. Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment's film Jurassic World Rebirth is scheduled for release on the 2nd of July 2025. So,
Hey.
It's pretty like, I mean, I'm not saying it's like a direct tie or anything, but it's interesting that they decided to include that in there. They could have just said they could have just said Universal's releasing a new movie next year and we're going to release a game close to it. But they directly mention like Universal's Jurassic World sequel is releasing this date, like
Yeah, the
specifically.
specific date. So the fiscal year, I think it was in their financial document that actually specified that. And now I'm trying to find the information I read, but the year was so fiscal year 26, right, or financial year 26,
yeah.
however you want to say,
Mm-hmm.
is June. Is it June 2025 to May 2026?
Yeah, and then
So
the next one would
that's
kick off the next June.
yeah. So that's the release window. Anyway, anytime from June 2025 all the way through to May 2026. So it could coincide with the movie. It could also release much later, but I think the understanding is that it's releasing early in that fiscal year.
Right, with
Yeah.
that big time period, that's why it's interesting to me that they mentioned something that's a month into it, because they're giving us a year time period, but it's like, hey, there's this thing here a month in. But
Yeah, it's very interesting. And they call it a third Jurassic World game. They don't directly call it Evolution 3, which I guess makes sense. They haven't announced this officially to the public. This is all internal, fiscal report, financial report, fiscal, financial.
No, I got my bad. I could be completely wrong. I
it's
just
a
thought
it's a
it made
financial
sense.
it's a financial plan or forecast or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Something
So
businessy.
not an official announcement, but I would be curious to learn if Evolution 2 was called Evolution 2 in the same kind of documents back before it released in 2021. Be interesting to see how they referred to it. But yeah, so we had Evolution in 2018, the first Jurassic World Park Builder game, which also had the Return to Jurassic Park expansion, which was great.
which
You had
also released
Evolution.
with Fallen Kingdom
Yeah,
around
so
the same
that
time.
coincided with Fallen Kingdom, right? And then
Yeah.
Mhm.
Evolution 2 was supposed to coincide with Dominion, but obviously I think the COVID delays and everything meant that Evolution 2 released in its original year, 2021, which was when
And
Dominion was supposed to release, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
and all of them were announced at Gamescom as well, which is why I was saying we might see it at Gamescom, and we didn't. But it's really interesting that they do say Rebirth a lot, or like they mention it and the release date in the portfolio strategy. So makes me think that I was semi right, so I'll take it.
What do you think this game is going to be about? What do you think if it is Evolution 3, how are they going to do it? Do you
Uh,
think?
well, that's the big question that everyone's kind of asking, I guess, in the community, because they're gonna have to do like I was been reading like a lot of the community's opinions on it and stuff like that, and they've just been saying like if they haven't done anything in the first two games, what's gonna make people want to buy the third one? Like you're gonna have to do something completely different in order for people to be interested in buying it and things like that. So
Mhm.
everyone's just been throwing out like their own theories of what they should add into the game, things like that. Um, one of the big things that I see in my community is like the breeding aspect, like that they can breed on their own and stuff like that, and you can find eggs and shit in your enclosures and all that stuff, and it's just like that, kayak rides, all that jazz, more aquatic
Cretaceous
adventures.
kayaks.
Mm,
But wasn't part of the issue with Evolution 2, at least in terms of the general audience, was that it didn't feel like that much of a change, I guess, from the first game. It's the same
Mhm.
game, just a lot of added features and locations, right?
yeah, that pretty much. So that's why everyone's a bit skeptical of like the third one, pretty much, of like how they're gonna make it that much different compared to the
And
first two,
Yeah.
realistically.
Do Frontier make any other type of game? I know they've got Is it Roller Coaster? It's not Roller Coaster Tycoon, but they've got. Wait, is it a roller coaster game or is it a
They also have
Planet
the zoo,
Planet
Planet Zoo.
Coaster? Isn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah, they have Planet Zoo as
Planet
well.
Zoo as well.
But Planet Coaster is a thing, right? I'm not making that up.
Um,
There
I
is a
think it,
coaster one. I just can't
yeah,
remember what it's called.
Okay.
and I think they,
Jurassic World Coaster. No, I
Hey,
don't.
listen, I haven't played outside of Jurassic World Evolution. I haven't played any game like that since like Zoo Tycoon back in the day.
Oh, I
So
love that game. Yeah.
I loved that game too. But
But I'm curious if Frontier make any. Do they make first person games? Do they make any other type of game, or is it always management? You know, park building kind of. What do you call them? Simulation games. Is that what you call them?
yeah, I would say that's probably the best way to describe it, like simulation games. I'm
yeah.
trying to see what their palette is, or like what other games they do, but
Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster. We were right.
Mhm.
Elite
yeah,
Dangerous. What is that?
F1, they do the F1 games as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Warhammer.
Planet Zoo, yeah, Warhammer as well, which is interesting.
There's a game called F1 Manager 23. Oh, and F1 Manager 24. So yeah, they do a lot of management based
Mm.
games where you build or manage.
Mhm.
So I guess yeah, unless they are looking to venture into a new genre of video games, which would be cool. It looks like Evolution. It looks like the next game will be Evolution 3. Probably a huge improvement over the last two. Maybe combining everything from those two games, and then, like you said, there has to be a large selling point that makes it different enough. Like it can't just.
Yeah.
I mean, based on what we know about Rebirth, it can't just be a new island where you get to build parks. It can't just be that. And you got temples this time where you can build temples.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that would get just be a DLC, right? At this point,
That's what I was about to say. Is like
Yeah,
that sounds like a deal. Rebirth will be a DLC or something.
yeah.
that's like the
So
the interesting thing with like with these games as well. Like that's why I'm surprised they're making a third one, because realistically, it could just be an expansion for Jurassic World Evolution 2. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
hopefully that
yeah.
this one is the last one, and then with the new seasons of like Chaos Theory, not in a bad way, as in like
Hopefully,
as
this
in
is
the
the
lot.
last one they bother with.
That sounded so bad, but like as in the sense like they could just keep adding on from that one because like I don't think there's any. It's like pretty much like FIFA, you know what I mean? Like it's the same shit every year. You know what I mean?
Maybe
Like there's
that's what their plan is, though. Not not same shit every year, but just the kind of improvements that FIFA brings each year. Maybe
Mm.
that's kind of their goal. They do
uh,
that. They do F1 Manager. They've done it for 3 years running consecutively. So maybe they want
true.
Jurassic World Evolution 25.
I think the like I don't know. I think the title evolution sometimes doesn't really like signal park builder, and I think you know some people wish there was more to the game or a different type of Jurassic World game, and like we were talking about titles and if maybe they could title it something differently. Um, what were people saying about title? Like, what titles were they throwing around?
When the article came out and things like that, a lot of people were saying it would be really cool if it was like called Jurassic World Genesis and
Yeah, or
things
even
like
like
that.
Jurassic World Operation Genesis, like just do a Jurassic World version, maybe.
Hell yeah, I take that.
Like,
Get
I mean,
blue
but
tongue back.
that would be a yeah, that would be a that would be a way to like market it as something fresh and new, as if you took that angle with a new title and gave it some new stuff. Jay Malone put in their article some good ideas for like ways they could add to it and improve it. So yeah.
Oh, so there is a large there is a large desire for the game to, whether DLC or not, to bring in a lot more. There's things missing apparently, is what I'm understanding from people's comments and things like that. In Jay's article, more scientifically accurate skins and skins we don't have yet. So they haven't filled Evolution 2 with everything that's in the franchise, is what I'm
No.
understanding.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. No, as in like yeah, you're right. Sorry,
Was it
I worded that
Evolution?
so wrong.
Did the first game have marine reptiles, otherwise known as water dinos?
I don't remember. I only played the first one on my Switch.
I didn't
Um,
play yeah,
Switch,
I
right?
didn't
Okay.
play it
yeah,
until Evolution 2, so
If I
yeah.
remember correctly, it didn't, but they did introduce the aviaries. But it was kind of a clunky system. You had to enter the aviary, which felt like a different level, different like zone, and you could
yeah,
interact very limitedly with the dinosaurs in there. I think, you could only choose certain camera angles within the aviary. Uh,
right.
Evolution 2, if I remember correctly, it introduced both marine reptiles and flying reptiles that you could. I think they were sort of part of the same map, if that makes sense. You didn't have to enter the aviary, but I could be wrong. Maybe
Right.
they.
Well, and something to note on that note is like I feel like with Evolution 2 there have been like tons of updates and DLCs and like way more than the first game. So like maybe there will be I mean maybe they'll just build on that kind of mindset with the game like and there will be even more in Evolution 3 or whatever it's called.
It gets really pricey though, like especially as like if like say if they do, it's a good way if they do call it Jurassic World Operation Genesis or something like that, because nostalgia will bring old fans to want to buy the game and things like that. But like what scares a lot of people off, and especially like what I've experienced when I've been streaming Evolution 2, is just the price point of like the game and stuff like that. Because it's pretty pricey, and then like the expansions and DLCs are like $40 each
Yeah.
and things
Weren't the
like
ones
that.
for Evolution free? Secrets of Doctor Wu and
Uh,
the Claire one. Are they
I
free?
think unless they're just like really cheap, but like yeah, these ones are like hella expensive. Like I think over here in Australia, you're looking at like $200 for everything, like for the game, and
Just
then all
pirate it,
the
man.
but yeah, but they did it. They did a huge sale in June for the summer sale, and like everything was like really discounted. I also mentioned in like the previous podcast as well, like if they were going to announce something Gamescom, it would have been a good idea making Evolution 2 free to play. That way, it'll bring more people to play. the game. So that way, like, it makes people more hype for the third game that's coming out because you make
Sure.
this game free to play. Everyone gets a feel of it, and we're like, oh yeah, okay, I do want to buy this new one that's coming out. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not saying that they'll go free to play or anything like that, but I think they gotta knuckle down on what they're gonna do for the pricing because I know gamers are getting a bit agitated with pricing with games these
I
days.
think that's industry wide though, isn't it? And I think I read something the other day about how somebody said Grand Theft Auto 6. That's the only thing I can bring up. It's the only game I play. I want to play, but apparently that will set new records for how games are priced. I read, but
Yeesh.
I don't know what that means.
How
But
much is Jurassic Park Survival going to cost?
it's free if you pirate it.
I would assume that like I mean what games nowadays is like it's just different because like Australia, but I think it's normally like $80 to 100, and then like that's deluxe edition or whatever the collector's edition like can range from 120 to 150.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, it's close to
yeah
100 buckaroonies out here in Canada.
yeah
It feels like for each game. But then I feel like that it is a topic of conversation that needs to be had because the time spent now developing games is significantly different to what it was even just 5-10 years ago. It takes a lot longer to at least the games that feel polished and like they will last for a long time. GTA 6 is an example of that. Jaden, I'm sure you could tell me a handful of other fantastic games that feel like they're going to last for a long time that were developed for a long time too, and probably feel like, yeah, that was totally worth the money. And in a sense, you can kind of think if a game's been in development for 6 to 8 years, and then I'm going to get 6 to 8 to 10 years of enjoyment from it, is it worth more than $50, $100? Really, when you think about it, right?
yeah.
It's
Well,
it's a tough because people are. It's worth. I don't know. It's a tough conversation because no one wants to spend that much money on a game. But then you think about how long some of them will last. Does that justify? And if they were developed for 6 years,
Yeah,
does
and
that
all
justify
the
a higher
blood,
price?
sweat, and tears that go into it, you know?
Hmm.
mm, it's just like yeah, like when you said before, like I bet you could name me a bunch of games that are, like have longevity, but honestly, the past 5 years have been really shit for gaming. Like I can't name a good game in the past 5 years that's lasted a really long, like that's lasted longer than a year, realistically. And then everything else just kind of gets fucking flooded with microtransactions and shit, and just
Yeah, yeah.
floods you with that. So it's really hard to like name something that's.
Well, do you feel like now that Cyberpunk has kind of reached? I don't know if it has or not, but apparently it's reached, what they had originally intended. Maybe. Do you feel like that game now stands on its own as a good game, or?
I think it'll always be hindered by like its launch and stuff like that, and a lot of people won't go back to it or even try it out because of its troubles at the start. But from what I heard that like all the fixes and stuff are really good, but it's just yeah, like are people gonna see like that first thing when they search up Cyberpunk or whatever, unless it goes on sale on a dramatic price, then I
Yeah,
can
which
see people
yeah.
wanting to buy it and stuff. But I doubt people are gonna want to pay full price for a game that wasn't up to par on launch and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like all those things and stuff like that. But yeah, it is a good point, like with pricing and shit with games. Like it's just they're gonna have to do it right. But either way, it's like if they make it too pricey, then everyone's gonna complain and be like, "No, not buying this L game." Blah blah blah. Especially for the
Maybe that's.
market of like Jurassic World, like it's basically kids as well. So like you
Uh-huh.
could imagine like these kids that are gonna be going up to their parents and like, "Oh, mom, can you buy me this game? It's $80, but it's $120 for like the deluxe edition. Oh, and can you also buy me this expansion pack that's a $40 on top of that?" And the parents are gonna be like, "Why am I paying like $200 for like this for
Yeah,
this
that's when
realistically?"
your parents supposed to introduce you to pirating.
But
This is
yeah,
all too
so
expensive, son. Let's go home and download it ourselves. No, it's an interesting point, but then those same kids spend near enough $100 on toys. One single toy.
yeah, V-Bucks or whatever. So I
Yeah,
guess
y'all spend money on video games. I spend money on toy on the children's
But
toys.
that's what I mean. But the Mattel prices are high. Like
They've
anytime
gone
I
up
did
for
go
sure.
into
Yeah.
to Walmart or anything to have a look at what the latest Jurassic item was, you'd see that, and then you'd see the budget brand dinosaur toy set that they have, which includes 10 more figures, a vehicle, and a bunch of other stuff, and it's half the price of the Mattel item. And it's like if you were on a budget, you would go for the thing that has a lot more than the official product. I don't know. I always noticed the price. I was like,
Yeah. Well, and
there's a
like,
crazy difference between like basically what the Chap Me My or whatever that company was called that did all those Jurassic inline figures that weren't Jurassic, but they had like big boxes with massive sets in, two vehicles, helicopters, and they were like
oh yeah,
$20
yeah.
for one box, you know? And then you see like a single Jurassic T-Rex and it's 50 to 60. I don't know.
Well,
It's
so like, and I'm not to take us on a toy tangent, but like, M- Mattel, Mattel has like done a really good job of improving their output. I feel even just over the last like 9 months to a year,
yeah.
as far as like what you're getting for the price and like the quality, they're on an upward trajectory. But anyway,
No, no,
that's your
no.
toy
I
segment for the podcast.
You're all good. We saw, I mean, we saw a lot of that with the figures we were receiving for Beyond the Gates. I was having to
Mm,
shoot them super close up, and you really notice that detail, especially after doing it for a few years. Say, for example, the difference between the Hammond Collection T Rex and then the Hammond Collection Carnotaurus.
mhm.
Like, it made the T Rex look ridiculous
Uh,
in
the
the end.
the Hammond Collection Carnotaurus is incredible.
Yeah,
It's like my favorite, maybe my favorite thing Mattel has ever done for
I
yeah, and
Jurassic.
think I did
up
it there.
up to the
Oh no, I
closest
don't.
detail as well. They nailed that, and you know, yeah, no, I could totally agree. That thing was nice to shoot,
Yeah,
and light
they've
bounced
just
off it really
It's
well.
beautiful.
Yeah,
for some reason Big W here have put out blue
Big
the
W, shout out
Therizinosaurus
to Big W.
and the Giga. After not after stopping after Ankylosaurus, they skipped everything, and now the Therizinosaurus and the Giga are on the website online
Oh,
only. I
that's
was like, what the
awesome.
hell? So
There
I'm
you go.
getting them.
But yeah, both
Uh,
of those are awesome.
yeah, I want the Kano though, but yeah, I can't get it yet. That's a lot of money.
Would you buy Jurassic Park Survival if it was $200?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would probably justify it. Yes.
Yeah, I can sit here and talk about price points when it comes to Jurassic and shit, but I know I'm gonna eat it up. I'm gonna be like, yeah, like I get to, like way too expensive, and I'm just gonna be like, and here I am buying it.
Yep. Here's my card.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
bitch and moan, but we're playing day one. So
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm getting that collector's edition for
exactly. Yeah.
Jurassic Park Survival. I don't care. I'm
I
getting
mean,
some
live
statue.
streaming, live streaming. We'll have multiple live streams on Outpost. Just every individual person playing it. Choose your fighter. That's gonna be great. I actually can't wait for that day. I really hope we get some survival news soon because it's the one game I am actually excited for, as well as GTA 6. I don't know if I've mentioned that before on any other previous podcast, but yeah. Jaden, there's no update on survival, right?
Nothing that I can find. The only thing that really came out this week was the Frontier Evolution news. Realistically, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna hear anything until maybe towards the end of the year, with the Game Awards, where it got announced a year ago. That's my only thing that when we can potentially hear news. But other than that, I think they've just gone real quiet.
I don't know anything about game marketing or how Saber do it really, except from what we publish ourselves in videos and stuff. But the a year ago, if in December, if it's been a year ago, they dropped that trailer with the announcement. Mid-year, they gave us three new screenshots, two pieces of concept art, and a bunch of information about the game. And then a year from that initial announcement, I think just a piece of gameplay, like literal gameplay of Maya running around on the island, whatever it is. I want to see how that plays out and doesn't need to reveal anything, but have her stumbling through the jungle a little, and that maybe coming across the visitor center in game, completely in game, like someone's playing it on stage. I feel like that would be the way to do it next. Just
I
just totally show us the game in as it works, the sounds, everything.
Yeah, me and Caleb were talking about this in the last podcast I was in. Like, even just something little, it was like a T Rex, and then it stomps in a muddy puddle, and then the water ripples, and it just has a release date. Like something small like
In-game
that.
footage at the bottom we want to see
Yeah, or
at this
or
point.
whatever. Like, just I'd like that, or like what you were saying. But yeah, I really would love to see something because it's getting scary.
I think
I'm like,
I
oh,
think everyone knows it's not coming out this year.
oh yeah,
And so
yeah.
like they don't I don't know, I feel like they can show more than they think they can show, and just how big the hype got after that announcement last December. People like people were freaking out because it's a big deal that this game is happening, and so like doing something in December at the very least, everybody knows it's not coming out, but like it would just maintain the hype,
Hmm.
the the
Oh, and
following of it.
they would have to kind of give us. I think at that point they need to give us a release date, or it'll just say 2025 or 2026. Set
Yeah,
some
and
expectations.
that's what we were saying on the last spot was like literally if it was a 5-second teaser of the visitor center on Isla Nublar that said June 11th, 2026 or something,
Hmm.
like that okay, sign
Yeah,
me up.
Yeah, I'll be
that
happy.
would be a really
I'll be
nice
happy with
release
that.
date, but a really horrible one as well. I definitely want to play the game in 2025.
Yeah.
I think depending on what this new movie does as well, it might there might be some sort of
If
tie-in as we've discussed. Probably not, but it would be nice to just be so hyped up for Jurassic and also have a brand new video game to just dive into.
that would make 2025 so full of Jurassic. Like, think if we get a third season of Chaos Theory, then if Jurassic Park Survival came out at some point, then Jurassic World Evolution 3, Jurassic World Rebirth, like
We would be
that
eating good. We
that
would
is a
be
lot.
overstimulated. Like there would be so much
even if
content
it's
to
ju-
digest.
even if it's just 3 out of those 4.
Yeah. Jurassic
So
fans will need a break the next year. We
Yeah.
need a little time to just digest all of that. But no, I think I hope that we get that in December. I'm not expecting anything before then at this point. Um, but something at the game is it the Game Awards?
yeah, the
Game
Game
Awards.
Awards.
Yeah, something
That'll
at
be
the
the
Game
last thing.
Awards, and ideally a release date, if not a release year. Imagine in December if they drop a trailer and it just says 2025. Then you have it could be any time, probably
Mhm.
June onward or July onwards. I would say probably really whatever it is probably going to release after the movie, right?
Well, I don't know.
The
It,
Evolution 1 released like a
a
week before
week.
Kingdom, didn't it?
Yeah, it was like a week before Fallen Kingdom were released.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah.
I feel like
And
a different type of game. They wouldn't want any expectations to be, oh, this movie is like a tie-in to
Tie-in,
the. Oh,
yeah.
sorry, the video game is like a tie-in to the game. Why is
Right,
it cool?
yeah.
Why is it called something different? Do you play as is it Maya in the film? You don't want any confusion.
Yeah, no, you're correct.
Maybe that's got something to do with it, but maybe not. Maybe it would work. I don't know. I'm just
I was
excited
gonna
for this
ask
game.
I was gonna ask you guys to do because I'm not like as in tune to the gaming world, but like, do Jurassic Park Survival and Jurassic World Evolution like do they affect like does one take precedence as far as release or do you like
um
am I being clear?
yeah, you're being clear. I never really thought of that
Like, do the studios
realistically.
know that they're both working on a game and like is
Oh yeah,
one
I would
like
imagine they know, especially with because Frontier, like they're based in London, I'm pretty sure.
oh
And
yeah, that's true.
I know in May or April when the COO of Saber went to London a month before the Summer Games Fest, and he was in that dinosaur office thing. I'm pretty sure he visited Frontier as well, but I could be wrong on that. But I imagine all those especially in like Europe and stuff. I'm pretty sure all the game companies are kind of like close if that makes sense. But I don't think it will like affect
Right.
each other or like one has priority over the other because they're just two different complete beasts in their own right.
Yeah, and I guess that just makes me wonder, like, what Universal's opinion on that would be, I guess, or what it is, because they probably know, and so I wonder if, like, Jurassic Park Survival is gonna release first for a reason and then Evolution later or something, or vice versa, but
I think either way, Universal are going to be very shocked to like the amount of hype that's behind Survival, and it's the
Mhm.
first time the franchise is dipping their toes in this sort of entertainment source because gaming is like another source of media entertainment. I think they're gonna see a lot of success with it, and they're gonna be kicking themselves in the foot, saying, "Why didn't we do this earlier?" Or shooting themselves in the foot, saying, "Why didn't we do this earlier?" Because I feel like they're gonna see a lot of love and money
Yeah.
from it. So,
True.
yeah, I feel like they will catch on to it, and hopefully it's just. I did say I've said this a lot of times in my streams, but I think in the next 10 years that the Jurassic franchise will be just as big as Star Wars and Marvel, in my opinion. But that's just me.
I
But
know
then,
it's
do we
it's
want
me
that?
it's me too, Jaden. I agree with that.
Do we want that? I don't think we really have a choice if they're like gonna start doing the right like if they start doing these things and dipping their toes in different sources of like media entertainment with video games and animated series, and if they do a live action series, I don't think we have a choice really. It's just
Just in
gonna see
terms
how
of,
I
I get
think
it, but
my go
oh, go
no, go
ahead.
ahead, sorry.
No, I just think in terms of the general, cinema and things they're releasing, arguably so much garbage has come out of both Star Wars and Marvel now. So I don't know if we want Jurassic to be there. At least I'd like them to prove with Rebirth that they are thinking
Mm.
consciously about that kind of thing. That this
That's
isn't
valid,
just going to be
yeah.
another sort of CG romp, dinosaurs exploding through cities and stuff.
Dinosaurs
You know,
exploding.
yeah, dinosaurs exploding. I mean, uh,
Hell yeah.
That's the threat to humanity. Dinosaurs have just started spontaneously exploding.
yeah, you got to stay away from them. um, but no, yeah, hopefully, like in that sense, I hope Jurassic ends up with a TV series that is, akin to something like Better Call Saul, that's deep and meaningful, not Terra Nova. As much as I like Terra Nova, just
Yeah.
not this big daytime TV show. I want something that I don't know. I don't know where a TV series would go. We've talked about this before. Maybe Jurassic World during its era of actually being
Being a
successful and being
functioning park
a functioning park could be cool. Some of the early disasters that weren't quite, you know, didn't shut the park down, but um,
caused a ruckus.
maybe killed a few people here and there. Cover it up, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
just a few
people die at
people.
Disneyland, so and
yeah,
Disneyland
somebody
keeps
died at
functioning.
Disneyland not long ago, I think. So yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
I
they cover it up.
was
They
I was
just put
gonna
them
say
in tunnels underground and then
yeah.
carry on.
I was gonna say my take on the do we want that as far as the franchise being as big as Star Wars is maybe we don't want that, but I think we do want some of the things that come with it, which are like proper treatment of the franchise and like
Yeah,
official like things that Star Wars and these other big franchises have, which is like official canon lore and like documentate like
yeah. Like a
yeah,
real art book for each movie that actually shows you the art of that
right.
movie. Yeah,
And
yeah,
like while there is and like with you have the Star Wars argument of there have been a couple of duds that have come out of the universe expansion. There have also been like some really excellent series. Like Andor is really good. Ahsoka is really, really good. Um, so if it's the things that come with it, or hopefully the franchise gets treated with lots of love and admiration in the public eye, even more than it already is.
yeah, for sure. And I think it's a difficult property in general. They always talked about in general. There you go.
In general,
They
Oh,
always
you
talked
said it. You
about
said the thing.
how like you can't really make a sequel to Jurassic Park, and I think they proved everybody wrong with the Lost World. But
correct.
but it is a slightly more difficult property. It's not as wide and expansive as Star Wars. It's not as full of characters that you can, there's not a comic book lore that came before it that you can take like Marvel, for example, they have so many characters and so much lore that's already been written decades and decades ago.
Yeah,
Jurassic is its own kind of entity in that, and as
we
we've
have
seen
two
from some,
novels.
yeah, two novels that they can still take stuff from, and I think that's where a
Yeah,
TV series would come in handy, whether that's a retelling or whether it, because a TV series for Jurassic that doesn't align with the movie, isn't canon to the current movie timeline, could be really interesting. Not necessarily a remake of Jurassic, but something that came from the novels, just the novels, carries the novel story on or something. Could be cool as a TV series.
that'd be
Separating
interesting.
itself entirely from the movies. Be difficult to show how they've done that, but uh,
I
yeah,
think
I don't
that's
know.
something that would
Around
happen
what?
way down the line. But yeah,
Yeah, and I think they would probably just go for a full-on remake of Jurassic Park in that sense, but closer to the novels. But um, yeah, anyway, filling in filling in that sort of 90s timeline is where I see a TV series going to, because there's still a lot of untapped time between the first three movies and then that entire gap where
14
there's
years.
yeah,
yeah,
there's 14, 15 years between JP3 and Jurassic World. No one's seen anything from that.
Yeah, and I
That's
don't think
that's where a
you can
TV series.
execute that in a movie at all. Like, there's just too much time and lore, I feel, to execute that properly in a movie. So I think it's the best way to do a show about it.
yeah. I was gonna say you've said before, Jaden, like you can in a TV series you can do things that you can't do in a movie,
Yeah.
and like as very much proved by chaos theory, honestly. Like so, Jurassic could take that to live action.
Boom. Mic drop.
I'd take it. I guess we'll see the path. Really, it comes down to what path Rebirth is taking. Is Rebirth going to feel like a movie that's setting something else up entirely? Is it going to feel like a standalone film? You know what I mean? Is it going to feel like when it ends, it's like, stay tuned. Blue and all our friends are going to return in Rebirth 2, or is it going to feel like,
Rebirthed.
yeah, Rebirthed, or is it going to feel like a movie kind of in the vein of, just because it's the only thing I can think of right now, 10 Cloverfield Lane, where it's part of a universe, but it's very much a standalone project that you could follow that character after, sure, but that's not really its goal. Its goal is to tell a fantastic story within a great universe.
I mean, you bring up 10 Cloverfield Lane, you could just bring up Jurassic Park, the original film. Like it
Sure.
it uh it didn't necessarily like scream for a sequel. There were things that could be picked up maybe,
Yeah.
which they
Yeah,
were.
it's
Michael
true. It's
Crichton didn't
totally
really want to.
it's totally bookended. It's they arrive at the island and then they leave.
Yeah, and so maybe Rebirth is that kind of thing. Just a testing the audience waters again.
Mhm. Yep. Water finds a way.
Water
So
finds a way.
Caleb, talk to us. You were personally invited to
I was
DreamWorks
not
for the
personally
screening of
invited to
season two
DreamWorks.
of Chaos Theory. So what's season two about? Tell us.
I no, that's not what happened. So I went to an event a couple of days ago at DreamWorks. It was organized by DreamWorks Animation and like DreamWorks Music Department and something called the SCL, which is the Society of Composers and Lyricists, which is a group that I and any other film, TV, game, media composers are part of. Sort of a union advocate type group. They organized this event. It was called Behind the Music of DreamWorks Animation, and
You sent me a picture of Shrek, man.
oh yeah, I was sending Jack pictures when I was there because it was at DreamWorks Studios. So I took a picture with Shrek. He's looking creepy. Shrek is love.
Shrek is
Shrek
love.
is
Shrek is
life.
love.
Yes. Um, Kung Fu Panda was there as well. Poe. Um, so yeah. Anyway, so this was an event for composers and musicians and music creators, and there were four composers there for four DreamWorks shows. One of them being Leo Berenberg for Chaos Theory.
Hell yeah.
Um, which it's awesome that it's getting so much promotion, honestly. SDCC and I mean stuff like this. And there were three other DreamWorks animated shows represented there as well. There's another one called Cursed that's like this animated kids horror show, and
Ooh.
it was incredible. The music was great. Shout out to Jessie Nelson. She's the composer on it. Like, it was awesome. The other two composers were awesome as well. But theirs were more like very much directed towards kids shows. Like, it was like truck monster trucks or something. Like, I don't even remember. I'm sorry. And then the other one was Gabby's Dollhouse, I believe. I might be
Okay.
getting that wrong, but
That's a great show. No, I have no idea.
but shout out to all the other composers there. Leo Birnberg and Chaos Theory definitely piqued my interest. They showed some really cool moments from season 1 of Chaos Theory just to demonstrate what the music of the show was like, and and they did that with every show, sort of the differences between these shows and their music. And then afterwards, there's Q&A. And so the reason I'm talking about this on this podcast because it was about Chaos Theory, but also Leo Birnberg had some really profound things to say about scoring for Jurassic, because he was asked about, like, what does it take to score Jurassic and what makes good Jurassic music. And he said some cool things. He said that he texts with Scott Kramer and Aaron like daily. He said they text all the time. And he said they're like good friends. And he talked about how they called him, Scott and Aaron called him like a year before Chaos Theory was even going to happen, to like start telling him about this show that they just got greenlit, and how it was inspired by 3 Days of the Condor and The Parallax View, and it was a 70s thriller with dinosaurs. He said
Which
that's
they
what.
nailed, by the way. That the
Yeah,
show
exactly.
really does strike those chords, especially, and I mean, you'll go into it, but the music at the credits music, especially,
Oh yeah, yeah.
just hits it.
Well, like, and literally, that's how they described it to him, as like a 70s thriller with dinosaurs in it, like crime thriller with dinosaurs. It's
Hmm.
just perfect. And so and he said they also at one point described it as Sicario with dinosaurs.
Oh,
because it's like
cool. Okay,
because it's
yeah, I
like
kind of see that.
because it's like trafficking dinosaurs and government
Yeah.
Sicario was a
organizations.
great movie as well. That's
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve, right?
Denis Villeneuve. Yeah.
Yeah, I said it right. But yeah, no, that movie is really great. There's a sequel which I never saw. Apparently, that wasn't quite as good, but
It's
same
not
vibe.
it's not quite as good, but it's in the same vein. It's enjoyable. Um anyway, he Leo was asked about, like, how do you approach coming to a Jurassic thing that's like in the legacy of John Williams and Michael Giacchino and all these great things, like, how do you do that? And he uh proceeded to say his answer about the Jurassic Park score I thought was really profound. Um, he said that John Williams sort of approaches scoring Jurassic Park in like 3 different genres or phases of the film. And the first one is adventure, which is like Journey to the Island, and we're excited, we're going to see dinosaurs. The second genre is philosophy, which is, you know, we're discussing playing God and should we be doing this, and this is a bad idea. And then he said the third genre he would put into it is horror. And
Yes.
he said something that I wholeheartedly agree with, which is that in the Jurassic Park score, John Williams does not get enough credit for writing one of the greatest horror scores of all time in the
Hell
Jurassic
yeah.
Park score. And
Yeah.
I totally agree with that, because like the last third of the movie, the back end of that score, the climax of the movie is just absolutely wild, bonkers, scary horror music. Um, you're trapped in a funhouse with things that are going to eat you, basically, and like, um, yeah. So I thought that was pretty profound, and we always talk about how Jurassic Park ties to horror, and I agree with what he said there, that um John Williams doesn't get credit for writing one of the best horror scores of all time, but it's also like the pensive philosophy. It's also the adventure, the action adventure thing. And so Leo said that he brings those three ideas: the action adventure, the philosophy, the horror. Those are the three things he brought to Camp Cretaceous and now Chaos Theory. So it was
Yeah,
cool.
I think he nailed that. I love what he said about the score, and I think it's pretty pretty goddamn accurate.
Yeah.
Uh, we all know Jurassic Park is not a horror film, but in its many subgenres, it definitely has scenes that feel like they're straight out of a horror.
Oh yeah.
Some of the setups as well. You can't really avoid that feeling with being stuck on an island with prehistoric dinosaurs, which will kill you. It just is a horror scenario in
Yeah.
general. In general, there you go.
And the
Um,
power's out. Like
yeah, and the
you
power's out. You
you
can't.
can't
Yeah,
call anyone.
it's just you're trapped. Ellie in the bunker is a prime example of that. It's, you could screen grab some of those shots in that scene. You're like, that's a horror film.
That
This is
speculative or that thumbnail you sent has Ellie like
yeah,
screaming in horror.
yeah, and the scream is so visceral. So yeah, no,
She's
I love that. That's great.
Laura
It sounds
Dern.
like a great event.
Praise to Laura Dern, the queen of our lives, Ellie Sattler.
100%. You know, it's crazy that she was only 25, 26 when they filmed
Yeah,
Jurassic
something
Park.
like that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds like a really, really great event that you went to. Did they play anything from the new Shrek?
No, I wish. I got to meet Shrek though, so it was okay.
You did. There's definitely elements of the Chaos Theory score that went a lot darker and went
Yeah.
more into that horror tone, which I loved. The score was really great throughout for Chaos Theory season 1. Do you feel like we've had this discussion off the podcast, but do you feel like Leo would be a great composer for Rebirth? Do you think he's ready for that?
Yeah, I would say so. I think if that happened, this is just my opinion, but I think if that happened, they'd probably hire him and his scoring partner that he scores things with a lot. Zach Robinson is his name. They do Cobra Kai, and they've scored some films together. And Leo was saying that at the event because one of the questions at the Q&A was like, what are you working on right now? And he was like, well, I'm finishing up the last couple episodes of Cobra Kai. So, no, so the films, excuse me, the films that Leo and his has been involved in were with most of them were with his scoring partner, Zach Robinson. They could hire Leo by himself. They totally could do that. I just think, um, I mean, Leo would be great by himself, but they'd be great together as well. Their scores are really, really good. They scored the Weird Al movie, um,
Oh, that's on my
and
list. I was going to watch that the other night.
they won an Emmy for that. So
Oh, great.
yeah.
Have
So
you've seen the Weird Al movie?
I haven't actually. I've heard the
No.
score though. The score is
Uh,
great.
okay, yeah, I really need to see it. I just the last thing I remember because it was a Roku exclusive. I think it just bypassed most people's really like I forgot that it came out. But
Oh yeah,
I remember during production when they cast Daniel Radcliffe, I was like, so that's going to play into it, right? His height
yeah.
or lack thereof is going to play a role, but apparently not. Apparently, it's not even mentioned in the movie.
Oh, it's just sort of there.
It's just sort of part of it. I know that the film is a parody of musical biopics. I think that's the whole point. Is it's
Oh, okay.
like, because Weird Al is parody himself. I
Yeah,
think
that's
the movie
that's
is.
appropriate. Yeah. To answer your question, yes, like they could totally hire Leo Bierenberg, and he's totally capable. I was just gonna say some of the things they've scored. He was and Leo and his scoring partner were in the video we did on the Outpost channel about who should compose the music for Jurassic World 4 because that's what it was called at the time.
Yeah, who else was? I think the thumbnail was Jurassic Park 7. Something like that.
Oh yeah, probably.
What was the outcome? Who else was on that list?
The composer we talked about on 2 podcasts ago, I think, James Newton Howard was on there.
Yep.
Who did Signs and Dinosaur and
Oh
Atlantis.
yeah, I would absolutely take that. When Signs opens, just with that James Newton Howard score, and just
Yeah.
the credits, it really sets the tone. It kind of wakes you up, and you're like, okay, all right, I'm getting into this now. It's
Yeah,
very intense.
it's chilling. Yeah, it grabs you.
Yep.
Um I'm trying to pull up my article so I can read you the other composers.
Oh yeah.
I know Hans Zimmer was on there. Hans Zimmer is not my top choice, but wouldn't be my top choice personally. But
Okay.
um, let's see. Okay, so I mean, John Williams was like, the obvious
Number
choice
one.
if he were to come back. Um,
Which he might. There's time. There's chance.
it still could happen. Um, he scored Indiana Jones last year, so um, Amy Doherty, who scored Battle at Big Rock.
Mhm. Good
She's
contender.
yeah, she's great. Sarah Schachner, who scored Prey, the Predator movie.
I still need to watch that. It's like one of those things that'll
It's
be freaking
it's
umming and ahhing
really really
about.
good. Yeah, it's really good. Um, uh, Leo Bierenberg and Zach Robinson, who I mentioned. Hans Zimmer, who I mentioned. Hans Zimmer, whose music was in one of the trailers for The Lost World in the 90s. His part of his score for Backdraft was used in a trailer for The Lost World Jurassic Park, and it's badass. It fits perfectly. Um, James Newton Howard, who I said, um, Kara Tolv and Anja Roseman, who did Prehistoric Planet, because
Ooh,
those scores are really good.
yeah, they are.
Natalie Holt, who did Obi-Wan Kenobi and Loki.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah, no, with
yeah,
Loki, yeah, that
yeah.
okay.
Well, and she came on Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is a John Williams franchise, and scored it. So Jurassic is arguably a John Williams franchise since we're using his themes still. Um, and then I said Joe Kramer, who scored a couple of the Mission Impossible movies, just because I like his style. Um, Alexander Desplat, who worked with Gareth on Godzilla. Um, yeah, there were a few other. I mean, Michael Giacchino is
Mm.
there's. I feel like every time I think Michael Giacchino is gonna like take a break, it's like, oh, he's scoring Fantastic Four, surprise. So,
When did they normally announce like composer for movies and stuff like that? Because like I'm not really knowledgeable when it comes to composers, but I would assume that it would be something that's normally announced well before. Like they normally find
oh
someone.
yeah, so like Jurassic World, like before the trilogy,
Mm.
I'm fairly certain Giacchino was announced in June of 2014. Either May or June of 2014, so like a year ish out. And then with Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, I don't like it was pretty much like just a confirmation of like, yeah, he's coming back, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so we're we've eclipsed the year-ish out uh timetable for a composer announcement. So I don't know. I kind of we're in September. Like
Yeah.
if you would have asked me back when we were making that video and like thinking about the composer, which was like April, I think, or March or April, like
Yeah. Sounds about right.
I would have I would have thought we would have maybe had an announcement by September of who the composer is, just because I don't know. Giacchino was announced in June a year before Jurassic World, but I don't know. Maybe Giacchino will fit it in his schedule. I don't know. I don't know.
Because there's
I've said it
no, you
before,
go,
but
sorry.
I kind of just want someone new, someone fresh. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, because I know there's rumors going around that like we might see a teaser trailer in November and things like that. Would
Hmm.
that be like probably the perfect time to announce someone as well if they do release a teaser trailer? Because they would have to have music in there as well. But that,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the way those work, it's usually not. It's very seldom the composer of the film is working on those. It's usually like the agency that cuts the teasers is either has an in-house composer or they're pulling music from somewhere to put with those. Like the exception is when maybe you already have a composer on board who's already had time and started working on the music and already has some music themes, etc., for you to use. That happened with Giacchino on the Batman because that movie got delayed and he had already started working on the music, so they were able to use his music for the actual movie in the teasers and the trailers. But like that doesn't happen very often. So
Okay.
really
Yeah.
just depends on the situation and like who the composer is and where they're at and that kind of thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because I'll just assume that would be November, like when we'll probably get confirmation then.
I
Hopefully.
agree. And like the thing about it is like Jurassic teasers probably wouldn't have any new music anyway.
No.
They're just gonna have the John Williams
Yeah, that's
because
what I was about to
that's
say as well.
every
I was like,
Jurassic teaser.
dun dun dun,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna start like that, and it's gonna we have to stop something. Back on
The
an
dinosaurs are
island.
exploding.
Yeah. And then it'll do like the other piano thing, like dun dun dun, and then like a cinematic of like some colossal or new dinosaur that they're gonna
A
be
temple
doing shit
in
for.
a
Yeah.
foggy jungle.
We're already writing up the teaser trailer right now. That's what's gonna happen. Come back to this podcast, and it's gonna be exactly how we said it's gonna open up like that.
We're gonna be accurate about the music, I promise.
Yeah, and then Zora Bennett's gonna be like, "We have to stop this."
You think first teaser out of the box we're gonna get a ScarJo voiceover?
I reckon they have to. They've been like hyping this up for like they've done like I don't ever remember seeing like something like this where the actors have already confirmed and done interviews before like it's been officially announced. Because ScarJo was doing all those like TV interviews and all those other things before it was
Mhm.
even announced and things like that. So, like I think I mean it could go it's 50-50, but I mean it would be smart if they use Scarlett Johansson's voice to do one little voiceover thing because she has an iconic voice and
Oh
things
yeah,
like that. And
she absolutely has an iconic voice. I think also like she is I mean the message that I'm getting is that she is the outright lead of this movie.
yeah,
And like Mahershala and John Bailey are also leads, but like under ScarJo is what it feels like to me. Like she's the head of this thing, and then they're sort of sub leads. But yeah,
bit of off topic, but especially like last week when we were talking about like the community's predictions and stuff like that. One of the big predictions I saw was Ian Malcolm doing a voiceover for like say the start of Rebirth, like talking about the past 5 years and stuff. Do you think you will see that, or do you think like they would ever, speaking of this teaser trailer, like if they
I think
do
it's
want to do something like that, they could do something like that?
I think something like that's possible. It's funny because like he was Goldblum was in London in the UK working on something for like a month. Um, and it's probably not Jurassic, but like, and then in an interview, he was talking about working on something with ScarJo too, and so it's interesting. I would that's something that sounds really cool to me, just because Ian Malcolm is kind of the voice of chaos of the franchise,
Mm,
and it would make sense. I don't know if that's how I don't know. I don't know if I totally want that, but I would enjoy it a lot. I I like the theory of like Goldblum in London, and he said he worked on something with ScarJo. If he was in this movie somehow, um, it was something like Hammond in the Lost World, and a character goes to visit him at some mansion or something.
You
Some
saw him in the filming pictures, right? At that museum place they were filming at.
You're fucking with me. Because I no, I did not.
Okay, excellent.
No, but like if that's what I would want is like he's the last person who was on Sorna that we know of. He has a lot of experience in this field. It makes yes, it's a nostalgic fan service cameo, yes, but like it there are reasons that it makes sense, and like, I don't know.
Doing it in the Lost World way is the way that makes the most sense, I think.
I would
As
love
you
it.
said,
I would love it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want him like to be like in the in the in the thick of it, like or in all the action and stuff. But like
Into the thick of
something,
it.
yeah, something just little as like yeah, like you know how Dominion opened with like the news report of like how dinosaurs like are doing shit, blah blah blah. But like just a recap of the past 5 years from Dominion, something like that, or even like the
Do
new
you think?
photos.
Do you
I'd
think?
rather they do that in Dawn, the way that it was done in like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That the intro to that,
I
where
was
it's sort of
thinking.
part of the credits almost.
I was thinking about that the other day because it's literally just like a dark screen and it sort of opens on a forest and you're getting just text appearing
Hmm.
to like very minimal music. And I was like, Dominion doing that is like the world has changed. This is the situation. Like, no, it doesn't have to be like read aloud. Like, it can just be on screen. That would be cool. What I was going to ask is, do you think general audiences, like not super Jurassic fans, do you think if they sat down in a movie theater and the first voice they heard over a cinematic thing with no one on screen, if the first voice they heard was Goldblum, do you think they would understand what was going on? Like, do you think they would say, "Oh, that's there"? Do you think they would understand why it was his voice doing this narration? Do you think they would recognize it?
I think the issue is that
That's a
Jeff
good
And I'm not saying they're
Goldblum.
stupid. I'm just saying, like, not everybody's a huge fan.
No, I totally get it. I think the problem is Jeff Goldblum has become just Jeff Goldblum. He's almost
That's the
typecasted
argument. Yeah.
himself, so
Yeah.
it's more like I did feel this may be controversial. I don't know. I felt like his characters in both Fallen Kingdom and Dominion didn't feel like either of the two Malcolms we've seen.
I
It
liked
just
him
felt
better
like
in Fallen
kind of
Kingdom than
just
Dominion.
sure. It's kind
Yeah,
of just felt like Goldblum being Goldblum, which seems to be almost every. Like I love Jeff Goldblum. Just seems to be every
Yeah.
time you see him, every appearance and every role, it seems to just be Jeff Goldblum. Do Jeff Goldblum now, and
In
it kind of ruined it for Jurassic Park appearances, in my opinion.
in Fallen Kingdom, he has the beard and he looks a lot angrier. And he's talking about like,
resentful.
yeah, he
Yeah,
feels a lot more like dark, pessimistic Malcolm in Fallen Kingdom than
which makes
he does
sense like for his
in
character as
Dominion.
well,
Yeah.
especially after the Lost World and stuff.
Exactly, his character
Yeah.
from Jurassic Park to the Lost World made so much sense. People were like, "Oh, it feels like a different character." It's like, yeah, he's a different person after what happened. That's a great bit of writing.
With all due respect, Senator, God's not a part of this.
Yeah.
I did like him in the like last like kind of bit of Dominion where like he gets fired and stuff and he calls out
Oh yeah,
Biosin and stuff like
that's
that
my
that's
favorite Malcolm moment in
yeah
Dominion is when he gets fired.
that's Malcolm. But
Yeah.
yeah, but freaking hell, every time I jump on this podcast, I always find new reasons to dislike Dominion, man. Like every time.
We're bad influences.
Yeah.
I legit watched it the last weekend. I was like, oh,
And you
God,
find
man.
you
I
find
kind
new
of
reasons to dislike Dominion and you find new reasons to like Fallen Kingdom. So
There you go.
you're
There you
not
go.
wrong. You're not wrong. I watched Fallen Kingdom. I was like, shit, Caleb's cooking, man. Like I don't know. Maybe like it's because I just turned 25. My frontal lobe's developed now, but like it's made sense. Like freaking, I love the Lost World like very much now. Like
Yes.
it is my comfort movie
Yes.
when I go to bed because Jurassic
Yes.
Park 3, like it's just too actiony to go to bed to. You know what I mean? Like it's wait, there's so much shit going on. There's so much yelling, loud noises. You can't fall asleep to it. But yeah, no, it's just every time I jump, like the whole thing just then with Ian Malcolm and Dominion, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't really make sense for his character, doesn't it? Like I was more focusing on Alan Grant. Like it doesn't really like I think they really misused that. But yeah,
not to take us off on a tangent, but like I kind of view Malcolm in Dominion as sort of like aggressive activism, like secretly getting hired at Biosin so that you can then contact Ellie Sattler who can help you bring light to the fact that they're doing bad things, but like it's a jump for sure. So
It's yeah. I mean, I think I've said my view
yeah, I
of
don't
it
want to. I don't mean to take us off on a tangent, but
to go too negative, but yeah, no. I mean, if he does appear in Rebirth, which I don't think he will, but if he
yeah.
does appear, then I do hope it's done with what's the word? I guess modesty
Purpose. Oh, yeah, that's a good
and
word.
Have
and
we?
purpose for sure.
Yeah.
So
Can't just be fan
if
service because
Just for
we've
the
said
sake of
before.
it, yeah.
I hope there's no. I mean, not that the movie itself is going to be fan service because it's a sequel to something fans love,
yeah,
but I don't want there to be any shoehorned in fan service. Oh, remember this guy from this one? Remember this person from that? Because we don't need it. We had that in the world movies, and if whether you liked it or not, it happened. This feels like they are trying something new. We might get verbal references. We might get well, obviously we know InGen's going to be there, but I don't think we need any returning characters, and I certainly hope we don't have any returning characters that were sort of spotted in the world movies. It's like, oh, we're expanding that person's storyline now. I hope we just get something new. We have new
would
characters
this
now, and
be the first time for a Jurassic movie if a previously known character does not appear on screen in this movie? Would that be the first time that's happened in a sequel? Because Lost World, you have Malcolm. JP3, you have Grant. Jurassic World, you have Wu.
Yeah, true.
Um,
Fallen Kingdom, yeah,
Fallen
Malcolm
Kingdom, you
again,
have
anywhere.
Wu and Owen and
Yeah.
Claire. I mean, you have everybody at that point, and then Dominion,
Yeah, you have
obviously.
everybody. Yeah. That's a good
So
point.
Rebirth, if no known character in Jurassic appears on screen, it would be the first time for that kind of thing. So
You're right.
Shit, I
So
never
in that
thought about
sense, I
that.
do hope just for its different, no Malcolm.
yeah, yeah.
It'd be refreshing to have that take of a Jurassic, no returning characters at all
It would
whatsoever.
feel like that completely fresh start.
Yeah,
A
which
rebirth.
Jurassic World did have that feeling. It's just, and I no comment on Wu's appearance, but um, if it wasn't for Wu, it would have been the first with
Yeah,
only
true.
verbal references. He mentions Hammond by
Unless you
name.
count, the T-Rex. But
Oh
yeah.
well, the dinosaur superheroes, of course, yes. um, so, I mean, speaking of Rebirth, there's been a confirmation now that it's rated R. Do we want to get into that?
Fuck's sake.
The source was TikTok,
Rated
so as we know,
R,
very
rated R
reputable.
for what? What is the rating? For grisly violence and disturbing images,
Gore.
harsh language.
Sexual nudity, gore. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, pure murder depiction on screen. No, I don't know. We had that in Fallen Kingdom. We had a pillow murder in Fallen Kingdom, so we've had on-screen human
Oh,
murders before. Well, actually, that was off-screen, wasn't it? It was just hinted at. It was just like he picked
We
up the
just saw
pillow.
the cane fall and smash. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, smashing in slow mo. No, yeah. So TikTok confirmed that it's rated R. So I mean,
TikTok is always right.
TikTok's
yeah.
always right. Um, just in general as an app, it's just always correct. No, but there is a dialogue going around. Jaden's been sharing us the details that people seem to think it's rated R because a fan poster says R on it,
Yeah,
which I think
so
I love that
uh
trail of thought. Like that's a great.
uh yeah, so shout out to Jamie Designs because he's the one that made the poster. It's a nice poster. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a
Um
great poster. I just like the
um
fearful look in the eye.
yes.
I
So
like that.
if you want to go check it out, Jamie Designs over on Twitter or X. But yeah, he made a fan made poster. He even like for someone was like, "Is this an official or fan made?" And he said fan made. But someone on TikTok decided to grab the poster and then post it saying, "Oh my god, we're getting an R-rated Jurassic World movie," and then boom, spread like wildfire, spread everywhere. Um, pretty much. And then all these influencers started reacting to it and doing like these weird transitions to it, and now it's just it's just full blown. Everyone's believing that's R18, even though the movie hasn't finished filming or anything like that, and now it has an official rating. Doesn't have a composer yet either, but it has an
Yeah,
official rating.
it's still in production and it has a rating
Yeah.
somehow.
But yeah, like it's just like the TikTok generation is just very. They see what they want, and then that's like God's word. You know what I mean? Like that's the that like they just don't fact check or anything. And then yeah, so now when you search up Jurassic World Rebirth R rated, I'm the first thing that pops up because I made a TikTok saying like
Oh,
not
at least that's damage control though.
yeah, like I pretty much just said look like please fact check your information, blah blah. I've gotten a lot of hate DMs saying I don't know what I'm talking about and stuff like
But
that, but
there,
it's fine.
guys, there are like one, two, 4 R's on the poster.
Yeah,
Jurassic World Rebirth. There are 4 R's on the poster. It's
it's
all
rated.
the
It's
it's all
rated
there.
R times 4.
Yeah.
It's super gory. It's super horror. It's 4 horror. 4 times horror.
Well, would you
Uh,
say that there's 5 R's cause Universal?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh shit.
Um,
Yeah.
And Gareth
Entertainment.
Edwards. Gareth Edwards. There's some more R's on there.
My God. This
Amblin,
movie. Yeah, this is
Scarlett
crazy.
Johansson.
Frank Marshall. There's R's in.
But I think the title Jurassic World Rebirth changing to that pretty much confirmed it for me because that's R. So it says R in it. So of course it's
JWR.
JW rated R coming soon.
The rated R superstar.
I would obviously love if Gareth Edwards is giving us a very brutal rated R movie, but there is no chance in hell that they will ever make an R rated Jurassic. You gotta leave that one to the fans, unfortunately.
But they could go further into the horror land if they wanted to.
Mhm.
Yeah, they could definitely make it more like of a thriller based like
You can
thing.
give us our first fuck. Give us our first F word in a Jurassic movie. You can get one in a PG-13. Let's do it.
Wait,
Can you?
One.
have we not already had that?
No, they say
In
shit.
Fallen Kingdom, Mills comes close to saying it, but he doesn't. He says because when they run into each other in the bottom of Lockwood Mansion, and he says, "You two, you effing deserve each other," is what he says. But he doesn't say the word.
Nah,
Okay.
they should save that word for their first Australian, like the first proper Australian character.
I'm just, no. What I'm getting at is Kep and Gareth Edwards are gonna bring us a little more horror.
Well, Sayona Santos is Aussie. She could say it if they bring her back, but you know, that's what we love about Jurassic. They don't bring back interesting characters. They just let them.
Was she Aussie or British?
She's Aussie. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
she's Aussie. That's what my partner said because she was on Home and Away or
I
some
trust
shit like
you.
that.
You are the definitive source on whether someone
Um,
is Aussie. So
I
I,
guess she was kind
I,
of interesting. There wasn't much to really take from it, but you could start thinking about the backstory and how she got into that position. That's
well, she's definitely going
I
to be
guess
playing
it's
a
kind of
part in
interesting.
Chaos Theory because of what she says. Like, I don't like what happened last time. So that's already like made me
When we
glued on.
slaughtered those kids, Jurassic World Chaos
Yeah.
Theory Season 2 is rated R. Confirmed. Can you imagine?
Yeah, it says
That would be fun.
Australian
Animated
actress
horror.
and model.
oh yeah, she is. I know she is Australian herself. I'm just saying, is her
Ah.
character Australian?
Oh no, 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 no. Her character's not Australian, no.
Okay.
I think the only Australian character in Jurassic was that
Muldoon.
no. Is he? No.
Wasn't Muldoon meant to be British? Because
Is
Bob Peck
Muldoon's
was
British,
British.
isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I
What's
think
his name?
he just plays a Brit.
Got a Brit, a
Dodson's
Scot.
bodyguard? I think he has an Aussie accent.
Oh yeah,
You
he
know that
does. I
yeah,
think you're
he
right.
does.
Yeah,
That Dodson's bodyguard, like, oh, he's not a bodyguard, but like,
he's like a weirdo assistant guy.
yeah, like, cause he's the one, because like when Dodson loses his shit and he doesn't want to bring the dinosaurs in when the whole valley's burning, like the Aussie bodyguard, he's like, "What are you doing? You have to like bring him in." He's like, "Ugh," loses his shit. But yeah, I picked up the Aussie accent there.
I was gonna say good accent.
Yeah. Oh, he's. I don't know what he said. Even though I watched it last weekend, but he only had like probably 4 words. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's the parents of the girl."
Hey! Look, we're not here to fuck. What do you say? We're not here to fuck rats.
Uh,
What does he say?
Fuck spiders.
What is it? Fuck spiders.
Oh, that made my day. I'm done. I'm dead.
I
Oh
knew it
my
was
god.
some sort of small vermin.
Yeah, I taught everyone at Outpost some Aussie slang in the group chat, and pretty much when like you're busy and you need to get shit done, say like you're working on a project or helping a mate move, and like everyone's just standing around not doing anything, you pretty much like go up and say, "Come on, we're not here to fuck spiders. Let's get on with it." You know what I mean?
Well, fuck rats can also
Yeah.
be said.
That's
Oh,
the
that was
American
too good.
version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, depending on where you are, maybe in New York. Come on.
Yeah,
Right.
New York.
Let's get out of here. But yeah, no, I obviously it's not R-rated, but I do hope that David Kep. I mean, David Kep brought us some of the best deaths in Jurassic. We were talking about this on the last podcast. I think we were talking about the
Mhm.
Compy death. Talk about Burke's death. We see a
Eddie
lot of blood.
Carr.
Eddie Carr gets ripped in two.
Mm.
I'm hoping David Kep has reminded Spielberg, hey, come on, some of this is horror, and we need to make sure that people die gruesomely. And hopefully that we'll see some of that in Rebirth, with justification, of course. We just
Yeah,
want,
like you said, it's a subgenre.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and it plays into it well, and especially as you said, as things progressively get worse through the movie, it really does turn itself into a bit of an isolated horror. So
mhm.
I hope that we are, and the characters are more scared of what they're seeing than enthralled by any of it. Hopefully, the whole thing is a bit of a nightmare. That's the kind of movie I want.
So
Something
you don't
dark.
want them to be like in love with dinosaurs or anything. You want them to be like shit
Well, I
scared.
think we're gonna get that with Loomis for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I hope that whatever's happened to the dinosaurs, whatever is happening on this island, is just it's there's no time to be like, whoa, this is great. Look at this cool dino. I hope it's Jesus Christ, we need to get the hell out of here as fast as possible. Because
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting the vibe that something else is just there's something else to all of this.
The shocking, stunning, horrifying secret that has been hidden
Hmm.
for decades.
Yeah,
Well,
what is
you
it,
I
and
hope it's
where is it?
dark.
That's the
I
other question.
like you were just saying. I hope it's dark. I hope it's something that's like horrifying. So
Hmm.
well, how long have the dinosaurs been on the mainland for? When was Fallen Kingdom? 2018. So
so
is
at
that
this point
the
they will have been out for almost a decade.
yeah? So hopefully people do lose their like, oh wow, dinosaurs, and they'll be like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Like
That's
like
a
they
that's a
they're
good
wrecking too
point.
much
Like
shit.
the conversation around dinosaurs is probably going to be a little different at this point in time. So
Yeah, that
because they're all over I mean, they're presumably have spread a bit more. So
mm,
yeah.
And Chaos Theory introduced us to that sort of way of thinking too. With the
Hmm.
very opening scene, all you hear is radio dialogue about the dinosaurs need to go, kind of thing, and it's people being annoyed by them, their just mere
an
presence in the world,
inconvenience.
Yeah,
inconvenience.
and when
Yeah,
the
Mm.
Nasutoceratops gets locked in the thing at the gas station, like the guy was like, "Well, gotta call the emergency services. There's a dinosaur stuck in my gas station." Like,
yeah,
Mm. Just
yeah,
your average
yeah.
day.
No one's enthralled by dinosaurs anymore, which is why it's Doctor the introduction, no inclusion of the paleontologist character is interesting because I mean, obviously, the dinosaurs that have been brought back in Jurassic Park and in Jurassic World are not scientifically accurate, even in not fully, even in the movies, they're not considered full dinosaurs. That's the whole point.
right.
So, I mean, but you'd think kind of the career path of a paleontologist would be something that fades away a little um, after what happens and all these real quote
It's
unquote real dinosaurs running around. It would be a bit of a different profession going forward, right?
it's interesting you say that because on the some of the photos from set when they filmed at the University of Greenwich at the old Royal Naval College. I hope I said all that correctly.
I think so.
Um, some of the photos that came out of that, the crates that seem to have fossils, like dinosaur bone
Da-da-da.
specimens in them, and uh, also saw ScarJo and Jonathan Bailey and Rupert Friend on set, which we can talk about in a minute. But on the paleontology thing, on the labels on those crates, it said that the sender was the Natural History Museum of North America or something, which is a fictional version of one of the
Yeah.
museums in America, natural history museums in America, probably. So they're sending them somewhere, or like our characters are picking them up and taking them somewhere or something. Seems like this is how we're meeting Jonathan Bailey's character, maybe. The paleontology angle part of it that's interesting is on the labels on those crates, it says the sender is that museum, but then it also says the Neo-Jurassic wing or something like that. And so, like,
Neo Jurassic.
yeah, it says something like the Neo-Jurassic Hall or Neo-Jurassic Wing or Neo-Jurassic Period or something like that. So my thinking when I read that was maybe in this film, in Rebirth, now in the world of Jurassic, the last 30 years of time when dinosaurs have been back on the planet, like maybe paleontologists are now have named this period of time because it's new creatures on the planet. They're dinosaurs technically. And it's the Neo-Jurassic, which, I mean, that means, to put it in layman's terms, that means like imitating. Neo-Jurassic means it's imitating the Jurassic period, basically. Like, so
So these
that would make
skeletons
sense.
are in theory Jurassic Park or Jurassic World dinosaurs.
That's what I was about to say. Is maybe these skeletons are like relatively new, like when Eric Kirby in Jurassic Park 3 brags to Alan Grant that his raptor claw, mine's brand new.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe these are
I,
like new specimens that we're studying of dinosaurs that were created in the 90s or the 2000s or something.
I mean, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
If that is the path they go down, because that's a kind of that's a very logical uh, way that kind of humans would maybe deal with that,
And that
and
just
having them
sounds
on the
like
same
Kep,
day as
doesn't it?
well.
That
Yeah,
just
it
sounds like
does. It
Kep.
does. Neo Jurassic.
Or
The Neo
Crichton.
Jurassic era was blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I like that. I like that. And that's what I was going to say is the crates themselves. You know, the crates themselves are clearly in the movie, whether background or not, because they were created. Those labels were created that say North. What's it?
Yeah, the
Natural History
museum on
Museum
there
of
is
North
fictional. Yeah.
America. Yeah, it's not that the skeletons were delivered to be set up for the filming. It's like those crates were also part of the filming too, which is the interesting thing about it. Um,
Yeah.
they're definitely it's like a delivery or a pickup or something. Yeah,
At
and
a museum or like an artifact storage facility or something, which is like very Indiana Jones or something.
it's also very Lockwood Manor.
True.
The way when we first introduced to the room with all the specimens and the dioramas and stuff, the locations similar in that vein, the old British architecture, and it'll be interesting to see how they what scene they filmed there. We know that ScarJo, we know that Jonathan Bailey and Rupert Friend were on that set.
Mhm.
We also know that there was a cast member, an extra most likely, but somebody who worked for the Natural History Museum of North America there as well, um, as part of that filming. So
Yeah,
be
it's really
interesting.
interesting that if that employee is escorting the skeletons, or we're at the museum in New York and we're taking in these skeletons to then jet off. We're meeting Jonathan Bailey there because he works there in New York City or something, and then
Mhm.
we jet off somewhere else with Jonathan Bailey in tow or something. So
Yeah, I wonder. I think that's the best assumption about it right now is that it's Jonathan Bailey's location, whatever it is, or
yeah,
Dr. Loomis, should I say?
it makes
And
me so happy that he's a paleontologist.
yeah, yeah, great. And the debate is whether or not he will maintain his British accent in the movie. But Loomis
Yeah,
definitely sounds, I guess,
British.
does it sound British? I guess it does.
I don't know.
Is it a
It sort
British
of
name?
does, I think.
What's the origin of that name?
Loomis.
Loomis.
There's
Loomis
some
name,
there's some
country,
folks in some horror movies named Loomis,
England.
England.
That's what it says. Concluded that the surname was Anglo-Saxon and originated in the area of Bolton, Lancashire, England. So there you go.
Oh,
He is
there's the
English
proof.
confirmed. No, not confirmed, but he's most likely he is a British actor himself, so it
Yeah,
probably would be nice
natural.
for him to
Hey,
natural,
it's been a
absolutely.
while since Jurassic has had a good Brit, so
Yeah, This is true.
Yeah.
Who was the first Brit in Jurassic?
Ludlow.
Obviously, I mean, you could say Hammond was Scottish.
Hammond
but
is Scott. Yeah. Oh well,
Ludlow,
Muldoon.
yeah. Oh,
Muldoon.
Muldoon. Yeah, Muldoon, of course.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that.
But Ludlow feels like Muldoon feels like I'm a park ranger British. Ludlow is like I'm a rich asshole British.
Yeah, yeah. Ludlow plays it so well. I love that scene.
This suit cost more than your education.
Yeah,
He did
and
that so well.
when he picks up his flask on the island just after the trailer disaster, and he's like, "That's not the problem. What is the problem? Velociraptors."
Veloso, what? Veloso.
Yeah.
And then he can't say it.
There it is. Well, I think that's a good note to end on. Lost World.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, Lost World.
Jurassic World Rebirth.
Rebirth
Ooh.
has if Rebirth can come close to the Lost World for me, then I will be happy.
Yeah.
Give me that level of darkness, that level of tone, that level.
If it's not R-rated, I'm walking out.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, if it's not R-rated, then we boycott it.
Yeah, we're boycotting.
Outpost boycotts Rebirth.
Yeah. Damn you. I know the last 6 movies have been PG-13, but make this one R-rated.
Yeah,
Yes,
why aren't
you.
you? It doesn't make any sense. It has to be R-rated.
Yeah. It has 5 R's in that poster. May as well.
Oh man, hopefully one day we'll get an R-rated Jurassic. But until then, thank you for listening to the InGeneral podcast. It's been great. Any final thoughts, Caleb, Jaden, anything?
I'll probably remember something like later tonight, and I'll be like, "Fuck, I should have said that." But no, just have a great weekend, everyone, or whenever you're watching. Have a great day. Yep.
Happy Friday the 13th on the day
Happy
of this
Friday.
recording.
Yeah.
Ooh, spooky.
Spooky.
Hopefully, my last thought is that hopefully maybe we'll hear about a Jurassic World Rebirth composer sometime soon. So
That'll be great. John Williams confirmed for his first R-rated. Wait, has he scored an R-rated movie before? John Williams?
is War of the Worlds rated R?
No, I don't think
No.
so. I actually
that's
think
MA.
War of the Worlds is PG-13.
Is it?
I think it is.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
Spielberg. What do you search? Certificate.
I think John Williams has scored an R-rated film, if I remember correctly. I just don't remember what it is.
Yeah, War of the Worlds is PG-13.
Jaws is rated R. Hold on. Jaws is rated R. No, it's not. Jaws is the reason
That's
for the
M.
PG-13 rating.
Oh,
It's because it's rated
I don't even
PG.
know. Oh, I didn't know that.
It should be rated R. I don't know.
Yeah, isn't there like a nude scene at the yeah?
There's a basically nude scene at the beginning, yes, but it's not like close up.
It's the decapitated head, I think. The head shock. It's decapitated, I think, right? When it jump scares you in the boat underwater.
The kills in Jaws are brutal. Like
man.
Yeah. Truly. That level of brutality in Rebirth, please. Especially because we're spending a lot of time in the water. I want to see Red Sea. I want to see the Red Sea.
Ooh.
Not the real Red Sea.
Yeah.
I want to see Red Sea, you know? Give me blood. Give me R-rated Jurassic. We'll go to hell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, goodbye.